Hello, this is Ellen Tremper, professor in the English department. I am not a disembodied voice, though you don't see me. And today I'm interviewing Paulina Gajewski, who is a senior and graduating in the spring. Congratulations in advance.
Thank you.
And you've had a wonderful trajectory at Brooklyn College, but I want to start with high school because I think you've made plans for post-graduation that began in high school. So tell me about your high school experience.
Yeah, so I went to Leon M. Goldstein High School for the Sciences, and even though it is a predominantly science-centered school, a lot of the humanities classes, I was more drawn to them, and especially art history and history classes. And the communities that were fostered in the school, in the classrooms, with the teachers who were spearheading so many different things at the school, kind of convinced me that I wanted to go into education, which kind of drew me into Brooklyn College because so many of the teachers there had gone to Brooklyn College and had spoken highly of the education program here. So.
That's a wonderful return investment.
Yeah.
So tell me about the community in your classroom that you've talked about, which inspired you.
The communities were always incredibly inclusive. Open dialogue was always wanted in the classroom and fostered by the teachers. And then when I went back there to student teach, that of course had not changed. Open dialogue was still very much a main point of the classroom. Critical pedagogy, teaching kids how to critically think, being able to question the narratives that are told throughout history. That was something that was very important to me when I went to high school and when I was in these classrooms. And on top of that, just being able to have fun, not always take things too seriously, and having supportive teachers who always had your back, that really made the community inside these classrooms.
So Leon Botstein, I'm sorry, not Leon Botstein, your high school is on the campus of Manhattan Kingsborough
Yeah.
Community College, not Manhattan Community College,
Yeah.
Manhattan, Borough of Manhattan. Were you able to take classes at the community college?
Yeah, so we had College Now classes that we were allowed to take in our junior and senior years. And I had taken one in my junior year, one in my senior year, and these were classes that were taught by a professor from the Kingsborough Community College, and then were transferred here into Brooklyn College as transfer credits.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So what were the classes?
The first one was actually Introduction to Theater Arts, which I'm not very much into theater, but was such an eye-opening and exciting experience. And then the other one was Intro to Sociology.
Terrific. And have you taken courses in either of those departments?
At Brooklyn College?
At Brooklyn College, yeah.
I've taken an Intro to Theater class, so yeah.
Uh-huh.
But
Oh, good.
sociology.
No. So let's talk about Brooklyn College. When you got here, were you shocked, suddenly incredibly drawn to certain departments? How did you choose your majors, of which I understand you actually have 3?
Yeah.
Classics, education,
Mm-hmm.
and by the way, is it secondary education?
Yes, it's secondary
Okay.
education.
And history.
Yes.
So how did you come to those?
So when I first started at Brooklyn College, all of my classes were online. So that kind of immediate reaction that I would get from, I think, walking onto a college campus with these cemented communities and active communities wasn't really there. And it felt very atomized, and it felt very individual and kind of closed off from other people. And then I had taken a classics course in my first semester here, and the professor was so incredibly knowledgeable but also kind to us. And so that kind of professionalism inspired me to think about classics going into it. And I originally had been minoring in it, and then I thought, I have all these credits, why not just major in it and learn about it further? And then when we finally pivoted back to in-person classes my next semester, I had stopped by the BC Historical Lounge for the BC Historical Society, and the community there was so abundant and welcoming that I started spending more time there. And I had always known that I wanted to go into social studies education, but seeing that community thriving there, that sort of pushed me into going into it much earlier than I thought that I would.
So that lounge, which I understand is a wonderful place, is sort of hidden. You had to either know about it in advance, or there was something that drew you there that I don't know about. So how did you find out about it?
Yeah, so the president at the time of the club, he had actually gone around to the history classes, and he had basically advertised the club and the lounge to us as a space to kind of stop by to kind of grow for the club, and also kind of get a bunch of people who were interested in history to stop by, regardless of whether they were majoring in history or not. And so I took that invitation and I went down there and I stopped by and yeah.
So you were looking for opportunities. They came to you, but you made something of them, which is just terrific. So I understand that you are also the president of the Classics Society.
No,
No?
I was the first president of the Classics Society.
The first
yes.
president, but not right now.
No, currently I'm the club connector. Yeah.
I see. Okay. So tell me about that club.
Yeah, so it had actually begun with a series of events that were being held in the Costas Library, which is the space for the Classics Department students. And there were a few events put on by Professor Brian Sowers in the department and other department members where students kind of gathered, and we started off by playing classics-related video games. And then we kind of saw the fact that we had this space available, and we thought to throw a retirement kind of celebration for Professor Joanne Lurs, who was actually the first professor that I had in the classics department. And we threw that event for her. And then Professor Sowers said, hey, why not make this into something larger, some sort of event committee? And it took us down the kind of bureaucratic route of registering as a club and Bulldog Connection and all of that. But that was sort of where it stemmed from.
And I understand that you have a project that is ongoing with Legos.
Yes, so we were able to receive the Lego Coliseum, which is we're so grateful for it because it's impossible to find, but somehow the department managed to find it for us, and we've been building it since last year, and we're almost done, so that's exciting.
You're almost done.
Yeah.
Are you going to show a video of it?
Perhaps, we might, yeah.
And what other activities does the club manage or engage in?
Yeah, so we have, of course, the Lego building. We were also able to get a large amount of classics-related board games that are super fun from Professor Yarrow from the department. And she basically gave us free reign over the games, and so we spend time playing those, not just from an entertainment perspective, but from an educational perspective, because they all are so historically and classical based. And we also do movie nights, so we watch movies that are inspired by classics. We had been trying to put on a sort of adjacent book club where we read classics-inspired books.
I was wondering about books, yeah.
Yeah. So we had originally conceived of the idea in the first semester of the club, and then we read Madeline Miller's Circe. And then the next semester, I guess, we kind of pivoted away from the book club, but we're hoping to get back on that track and incorporate more literature into our events. We also do museum trips, so we often visit the Metropolitan Museum of Art, Greco-Roman wing.
I understand that a bunch of items from the Metropolitan are going to be repatriated, that Greece is getting 12 items that have been part of the collection at the Metropolitan for a long time.
Yeah.
The London antiquities dealer died in 2023, and it was discovered that his acquisition of these items, which he sold, was illegal, and so they're going back to Greece. By the way, is your main language Greek or Latin?
Latin.
So that isn't the only club that you are a member of.
Yeah, so I'm currently part of the Vanguard newspaper here on campus. I started in my sophomore year, and I've been with it ever since. I started as a staff writer, and then I kind of got roped into being arts editor. And then I progressed into managing editor and now editor-in-chief for my final semester.
So when you were arts editor, what did you do?
So I tried to focus around arts events happening on campus. We have such a great arts community here and things that go on in the arts section and in the art departments that I think that it was important to bring light to them. So I started off actually covering the Brooklyn College Conservatory of Music down by the Tao Atrium and the theaters in the Claire Tao Center. And that was a really exciting experience because I hadn't even known that there was such a flourishing music program here at Brooklyn College. And then I started to cover art clubs, so I covered the pottery club that we have that not many people knew about. That was really great. I also...
Did you say pottery?
Yes, pottery club.
I didn't know there was a pottery club here.
And it's so great. And so I covered them. And I've covered different speakers that come to the campus. We've had composers come visit. We've also had exhibitions here at Brooklyn College in the library, which have been very fun to cover as well. And then we aren't completely Brooklyn College centered, so we've covered things that have happened around Brooklyn and the city as well.
Excellent. You know that there is a writer's circle in the English department.
Yeah.
Have you stopped in there too?
I haven't stopped in there, but I knew of a student who used to be part of it, so I heard many things.
The English department has open mics.
Yes.
One of which I think is going to be taking place in March.
Yeah.
So I hope you get to cover that also.
I hope so. And then the English department also has the Stuck in the Library publication.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And a blog which gets published that I think anyone can contribute to.
Yeah.
Plus a magazine that's published at the end of the year. So you have a couple of minors as well as majors.
Yeah, so I have art history and museums and cultural organizations, which kind of fit nicely together.
Mm-hmm.
They supplement each other very well. Art history mainly because I've taken a lot of art adjacent courses in the classics department, and so that kind of inspired me to just go for it. And then I also took an art history course in high school, probably one of my favorite classes that I took in high school, and my love for art kind of not just in the newspaper realm, but also in the academic realm. I just decided to go into art history.
Mm-hmm. Anything else that you have done while here?
Yeah, so the Brooklyn College Historical Society also has their Clio publication yearly, which is a journal.
You want to tell us about Clio first?
Yeah, of
Who
course.
is Clio?
So Clio is the muse of history.
Okay.
And so was kind of the inspiration for the name of the journal. And every year, this is kind of a project that started up sometime in the 2010s and then was kind of forgotten about and then started up again with the kind of restart of the BC Historical Society during COVID. And they decided why not do this publication to feature student work, which I think is integral to the college experience, to be able to give students these voices. And so
Well, what kind of student work?
So it's anything that is historically adjacent. So any papers that include history are very much able to be published in the Clio Journal.
And this is published in paper format?
Yes, we have a booklet that comes out at the end of every year.
So are you still totally committed to a career in education, given all of these other interests?
Yes, I am. I think that they all, as I said, supplement each other very well. Education is not just within a school, not just within a classroom. It happens all the time within your daily life, within museums and whatnot. And I think that all of these skills that I've gathered, all of these fields that I've been able to touch upon have been incredibly important to what I know about education and how to utilize it in a classroom.
So you say that you got credits at Kingsborough, which you transferred to Brooklyn. Are you graduating with more than 120 credits?
I believe so.
I
don't know how many.
I wondered how you got all these courses in.
Yeah.
So you've just taken more courses.
Yes.
Yeah. And you'll be looking to get a job as a social studies teacher. Have you made inquiries about schools?
Yeah, so most of the applications open for schools around April, mid-April, and then late April. And so getting all my documentation together to be able to send them out. And yeah, hopefully I'll get placed somewhere in New York City, preferably Brooklyn.
Do you have to take an exam?
Yes, we have to take 2.
What are the exams?
The first one is the CST, which is just the content exam, so that they know that we know history. And then the other one is the EAS. I'm not exactly sure what it stands for, but it just tests our knowledge on pedagogy and education that we've learned here.
Okay. And you've already done those?
Yes.
Excellent. So you've had an incredible career at Brooklyn College. Do you sleep?
Of course I sleep. I prioritize sleep, actually. It's the only way to make it through.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
In summary, what do you think are the most important influences on your life so far, starting from high school?
From high school, I would definitely say my high school teachers. My history and art history teachers were probably the most important influences in my life and always pushed me to do better. And then in college, my professors, of course, those who have been so incredibly welcoming and informative to my experience, those who have been my mentors throughout the years as well, any faculty advisors that I've had that weren't my professors have also been incredibly important to my experience here, and the communities around me. The clubs that I've been in and the people that I've been able to meet have also been incredible influences on my experience.
So it sounds
here.
as if the through line from high school on has been community. That has really guided you as a principle for your life and for what you want to create in your after college life. You have had just a glorious career. What would you tell students who are considering Brooklyn College?
I would say that Brooklyn College has the capability to be one of the best undergraduate experiences that you can have. And it comes with downsides, but so do all colleges. So don't take those too much to heart. And the most important thing is that college really is what you make it, not exactly what others make it. So you have to be the one to go headfirst into finding communities. If you can't find them, making them. Reaching out to your professors, making these relationships with other people, and again, your college experience is really what you make it at the end of the day.